Yo, it's your boy Jay Best and your boy Logan McDougal. Welcome back to the Straight to the Point podcast, season 2, episode 4. On today's episode, we will be doing a Thursday night football recap. Have to talk about Aaron Rodgers, Logan's week 1 reaction, and then do our picks for week 2. Logan, you ready to rock and roll?
Let's do it.
All right, before I forget, as always, I want to thank God for waking me up this morning and allowing me to talk about sports, which is something that I love to do. Without him, I would not be here right now. So let's go ahead and get straight to the point. Last night, the Eagles and the Vikings faced off in Philadelphia, and the Eagles won 34-28 in a nice game. Logan, what's your initial reaction to the game?
Biggest thing is I think the better team won this game, and it showed throughout 4 quarters of football. I thought the beginning was a little sloppy. Thursday night games, they get a little sloppy, a little out of hand. Less days to prepare. The Vikings are in trouble here. It's slipping 0-2 to start the year. I didn't think highly of them this year from what I'm seeing. They don't have the big boys on the defense, man. They can't stop the run, and that showed. I mean, the Eagles ran the ball, I think, over 200 yards or something like that. DeAndre Swift went dummy, um, and that they're going to rely on their offense having to put up points. I mean, I think they scored 28 points.
Yeah.
You scored 28 points in the NFL, you're expected to win most of those games, and they don't have a defense, and which just shows that division's wide open for grabs. And then on the Eagles' sake, they got to clean it up. They're still looking sloppy. It's early in the year, but at the end of the day, when it mattered most, that D line and that offensive line took over the game. They had a couple injuries in the secondary, which I think led to Kirk Cousins having the game he had. But that offensive line, the Eagles dominated in the second half, and that D line got off to the passer whenever they needed to. And the Eagles will be a threat. They'll figure it out, and they'll be more legitimate. They're finding ways to win, and they're doing it in different ways. And I think that's extremely impressive too when you put that into fruition.
Yeah, so there's a couple things about this game. The Eagles started out very slow. Very, very slow. And even though the Vikings will turn the ball over early, the Eagles can put up points. They had 13 points at halftime. But you saw they turned around real quick in the third quarter. I think they found the identity for this game. You know what I'm saying? Because I think this team can beat you in a lot of ways. They can beat you in the pass or the run. In this game, guess what? The run's not working. So let's go ahead. I'm sorry, the pass not working. Let's go ahead and run the ball, right? DeAndre Swift, I think that's somebody that might be a bright spot for them moving forward. You know, normally it's a running back by committee, right? Boston Scott, Kenneth Gainwell, you bring in Rashad Penny, you have DeAndre Swift. That's what we thought. But if DeAndre Swift can run the ball like this, now it could be just that the Vikings defense, like you said, is not good at all, right? But I think this Eagles offense can run the ball. He had 175 on what 28 carries and a touchdown. That's huge for him, and I think they might have found, like I said, a bright spot with him. But I think this team can beat you multiple ways. And I think every night, like I said, they're going to pick and choose how they want to beat you, okay? You want to play against the pass pretty well, or if we're off in the passing game, right, we'll just run the ball. If you want to stack the box, and guess what? We got Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert. That's a big reason why I picked this team. I think they can beat you in multiple ways. And like you said, they look sloppy. Okay, the first game was against the Patriots, who um, Belichick had a whole offseason game plan for you. All right, so I take that into consideration in that game. Also, the weather wasn't as great. But after 6 quarters of play, so that game and then the first 2 quarters of this game, I think they showed that they are the dominant squad, and that's why I picked them to go to the Super Bowl. But for the Vikings, like you said, I think they are in a little bit of trouble. I do. I think I picked them. I think I picked them to win the division. I think
You
only
did.
because.
You did.
Thank you for reminding me. I did, but I think only because out of all the teams, right, they are the one that has been kind of consistent over the past couple of years, right? Detroit is now arriving on the scene. Okay, past couple of years have been pretty bad. Chicago, we're hoping that they have arrived. I don't think they have yet. The Packers moving on without Aaron Rodgers. You know, Jordan Love looked good week 1, right? But this is still post Aaron Rodgers, so I figured that they had the advantage to win the division. But now they're 0-2. It's not a really good spot for them at all. So how would you? So moving forward, how would you defend the Eagles' offense? So yes, they look sloppy, but like we said, they show they can beat you in both ways.
And I mean, I think that comes to anyone with a full team like that. You got to make them throw the ball. And as dangerous as that sounds, there's so much more bad that can happen with a ball in the air than you just hand the ball off and you getting 5 yards after 5 yards after 5 yards after 5 yards. Because then you're building up time possession, incomplete pass stops the clock, and then that defense is going to get exhausted. Um, and that's the only way I can think. And then if you flip it over to their defense, even if you're not doing good, you've got to run the ball. You've got to at least try because when that D line gets after you and they know you're throwing the ball, they will have a field day because they have a plethora of guys that they can fresh bodies. They got basically two starting defensive lines, in my opinion, combined in one with the depth they have on that D line.
Yeah.
So you got to run the ball. You got to run the ball, or at least try, at least play action. Slow them down a little bit. RPO. You can't just drop back and expect to beat them with their D line, and then offensively, you got to force the ball in the air a little bit. If you get Jalen Hurts, that offensive line running downhill, and that play action game going, go ahead and go back home because they will eat you apart.
Yeah. And it also doesn't help to have 4 lost fumbles for the Vikings. I forgot to
No.
say that. They will turn the ball over for the majority of the first half. But yeah, like you said, I agree. Um, a lot more can go wrong in the passing game, right? A bad throw, which happens with every quarterback, right? A tip ball, anything can go wrong in the passing game versus the run game with that O line is going to be consistent, I believe. So I do agree on that. But yeah, the Eagles did win 34-28. They're now 2-0. The Vikings are 0-2. Might be time to panic in Minnesota. So Logan, week 1 is over, down the drain, right? I think all the anticipation for week 1, I think it was worth it, right? Just seeing football again after that long off season, it was very worth watching. Now for me, I think I was able to watch for enjoyment more so than analyzing teams because I know week 1 people can overreact, and I think people are already starting to overreact. So with that being said, Logan, how did you react to week 1 from what you've seen?
First things first, I think the Niners showed that they're the best football team in the league. They came in hot to a hostile crowd in Pittsburgh, and they what most people thought, that's what they showed. And I think that's very impressive when you have guys that are that talented in a group like that, for them to kind of slow play going in. And it kind of shows you what they're about. They're going to come in, they're going to knock you in the mouth. And that's what they're going to do both sides of the ball. And that's intimidating. And they have so many guys that are high caliber at their position. I mean, it's ridiculous. Um, the Chargers, they can't keep losing games like this. Um, Yet the Dolphins are probably better than most people thought. Or I wouldn't even say that, because my whole thing is if Tua's on the field, they can score points with anybody. It's just a matter of if he's going to do that this year. But the Chargers, man, you got J.C. Jackson, you got Derwin James, you got Asante Samuel, Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, Eric Hendricks, Kenneth Murray, who's a former first-round pick, Justin Herbert, Austin Eckler, Gerald Everett, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen. I mean, the list goes on. Rashawn Slater, Corey Linsley. That team is too talented to keep losing games like this.
Yeah.
It's getting bad. If I was a Chargers fan, I'd be livid. And to flip it to the team they played, the Dolphins are here. They stay healthy. That defense gets better. I think they got to run the ball a little bit more. You're not going to win games throwing 400 yards every time. It's just not going to happen, especially later in the year. You got to run the ball. I think okay, before I say this, the Bengals, I think, are an anomaly. We're not going to get those same Bengals week in, week out.
Oh, yeah.
But
No doubt, no doubt.
I do think the Browns are going to be better than people expected. That roster has been good. Deshaun did not play good this past year. If he plays good, that team can very well make themselves into a playoff team. And then the last thing that really just caught my eye out of nowhere was the Seahawks and the Rams game. I mean, who could have saw that coming? I certainly didn't. They went into Seattle and punched them in the mouth, and Seattle pretty much did nothing about it. I mean, they came in with a much worse roster. They still have Aaron Donald, Matt Stafford. Cup didn't play. Still have Sean McVay. But that Seahawks team is loaded with talent. They made the playoffs last year. Obviously, Geno got a new deal after the way he played. They had 2 first-round picks. Seattle's Seattle's good football team, and the Rams went in there and pretty much shut them up. And I think that doesn't have a lot to do with mainly Seattle the rest of the season, but I think it shows more so what the Rams are about this year. Basically, like, we got the guys we got. We're going to go in there and show you what we're about. And I think that's impressive because I didn't have the Rams doing very good this year. And I think they're going to win a little bit more games than people realize.
Yeah, I like the breakdown you gave us of the teams that stood out in week one, but I'm still more on the side of I agree with everything you said, right? Especially the Chargers. Um, that has become a consistent thing. Them losing like that has been very consistent, and the fact that Brandon Staley still got a job is a little shocking to me. He was on top of both of our hot seat coaches list, and I think he showed why in week one. First of all, you are a defensive minded coach, gave up 30 plus in the first game at home, right? I'm watching clips of Tyreek Hill being pressed. I don't know if that's how you want to go about that. Like I said, I don't know much, but I know for a fact you don't want to press one of the fastest men in
No,
the league. But like you said, defense underperforms constantly. And surprisingly, I thought that when Justin Herbert got the ball back at the end of that game, I thought he would get down there and get some points. But it went from 0 to 100, real like bad.
bad.
It fell
Yep.
apart. You know what I'm saying? So I put a little bit on Justin as well. 'Cause I expect them to perform better. I think the yards was there, but I think he only threw one touchdown. So I expected him to have a big year, especially after getting paid. You know what I'm saying? This is kind of a slow start, but I do think that this is a perfect time, either mid season or at the end of the season, to go ahead and give Kellen Moore the head coaching job. Right? Of course, I need to see more from that offense, right? But I do think that you brought in the right guy to turn into a head coach if Brandon Staley don't work out. Because Kellen Moore being an offensive minded guy that he is, we saw what he did in Dallas with a worse quarterback than Justin Herbert, right? So if the offense can get better, I do because they scored 30 plus too, I think.
Yep.
So if they can keep that up, I do think he can have the head coaching job. But like I said, week one is a lot of people like to overreact. The Giants are not as bad as what they showed on Sunday night. I promise you that.
No.
Like I didn't think they were going to be world beaters this year, but they're definitely not. Because if we was to go based off week one, they're the worst team in the league, losing 0 to 40.
Oh, easily.
Exactly, and I know they're not. And even the Cowboys are pretty good. I had them going to the playoffs. Not that deep, but I had them going. But I don't think they're 40 points better than anybody.
No. And then another thing on Dallas, from what I saw too, is and I know I said this on our show earlier, um, our episodes before. I mean, I think the Dallas Eagles matchups this year are going to be a little bit more intriguing because obviously, Dallas came in there and punched them in the mouth too, 40-0
Yeah,
in the NFL.
yeah,
That is absurd. Like that doesn't happen,
at
like,
all,
at all,
at all. Yeah,
regardless of who's playing. And the Eagles have looked sloppy, so I'm interested to see how their first matchup goes. I still think once it comes playoff time, the only way the Cowboys make it far is if they don't see the Niners and they don't see the Eagles. If they find a way to not see those guys, I think they have a legit chance to possibly make it to the Super Bowl. But as long as those two guys are still in the NFC, I think that's what's going to handicap the Cowboys. But I mean, just like year in, year out, they got the roster. Dallas has an insane roster, and they went out and got Brandon Cooks and Stephon Gilmore. As long as they can stay healthy and Dak doesn't turn the ball over, I mean, they'll have a chance to beat anyone the way that defense plays. But it's another thing we'll see week in, week out, because what can go wrong will go wrong. That's my favorite saying about the Cowboys. So
yeah,
we'll see once the year gets going and the expectations gets higher how they perform. But they also had a really good week.
yeah. Yeah, but I just try to stress on the episode I did the other day. I try to tell NFL fans, man, do not overreact to week one. I think that's one thing that a lot of us do. And like still, I got to take it there. Still a nation right now. They're panicking. I don't know why we're panicking. We played arguably one of the best rosters in the league. And if you play a bad game against one of the best rosters in the league, the score is going to show. You know what I'm saying? I do not think that on our best day, we're getting beat like that against the 49ers. Right? So I need people to really think about that. You know what I'm saying? Think about your team might not have came. Joe Burrow. came out 82 yards. That's
Yep.
not going to happen. If you're going to tell me that the Cowboys are a Super Bowl ready team based off of Week 1, I can tell you the Bengals are not going to make the playoffs based off of Week 1. You see what I'm saying? It got to go both ways for everybody. If you're going to overreact for this team, do it for everybody.
Who did you uh I can't remember. Trying to think. Who did you have winning the Niners Steelers game?
I did have the Steelers winning that
Steelers.
game.
Okay. I didn't I picked the Niners. I couldn't remember who you picked to win that game. So I was just curious there
You know what, Logan? You did know who I picked. You just
because
wanted
I
to,
forgot. No, it I just
because it's very rare when you're the right person, right? Whenever you're right and I'm
I
wrong, it's
wouldn't
very rare. So whenever I am wrong, you gonna try to emphasize it and overhype it. I understand. It's cool.
no, I wouldn't say it's a rare moment. I couldn't remember who won or who you picked. So I was curious on
It's okay. It's okay. Everybody, he definitely knows who I picked.
who you
Just
chose there.
he just wanted to
So
put me in a
I
spot.
couldn't remember.
And look, I'm not gonna pick the Steelers every week. Okay, I'm not that kind of fan. I'm just not gonna do it.
Okay.
Okay, last year we played the Eagles. I promise you, I picked the Eagles to win that game. Last year we played the Bills. I promise you, I picked the Bills to win that game. I'm a realist at the end of the day. But I'm thinking opening day at home.
Hmm.
It's gonna be a low scoring game. I was wrong because they just blew the top off from the
Yeah.
jump,
Against
right?
a good defense.
But if you told me that my offense was not going to get first down to the end of the second quarter, then I would have picked the 49ers too. Come on, that's a little unpredictable if you ask me.
I didn't think it was unpredictable to pick the Niners to win, but look at us now. Well, you know,
He was right. He was right. I was wrong. You happy? Is that what you wanted to hear?
I like that. Yeah, that feels good.
That what you wanted? Because speaking of right and wrong, actually, before we get to that, I'm sorry. We got to talk about the devastating news of the week, and that's Aaron Rodgers. Okay, Aaron Rodgers did go down Monday night, opening drive actually, with an Achilles tear. Logan, what was your initial reaction?
That this sucks. I mean, it sucks. Um, whether you were pulling for the Jets, whether you're a Rodgers guy or just football in general, this sucked. Monday Night Football against the Buffalo Bills on 9/11. He walks out the tunnel. That place is going insane. He's bringing out the American flag. They kick off. They defer. He gets the ball. That place is going crazy. And then that happens, and it's just like, really? And of course, the way he went down, you're like, yeah, this is something serious. We're all optimistic, saying, oh, hopefully it's something. It's an ankle. And it's not nothing. And then you saw that pop. It sucks. Because I mean, the excitement that he brought to New York. I mean, I loved it. I mean, I didn't have them going that far in the playoffs just because of what I thought what they had up front. But I still had them winning a playoff game and winning their division this year based on how talented they are. And you got a guy like that who doesn't really turn the ball over hardly at all. And then you got that defense, and then Garrett Wilson, and then those two running backs. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they won it all if they played the style of football I think they're capable of playing. Would not be surprised. I didn't have them going far, but like this sucks. This sucks. So I mean, it's next man up mentality, and we're gonna see how much better Zach Wilson has gotten, and hopefully he looks better. Hopefully he does. He didn't have a good year at all last year. Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
Hopefully Rodgers comes back next year, which I think he said he will. Hopefully they give him some more beef up front to protect him, and then they go all in next year and hope for the best from his recovery because it sucks not having him playing.
It does, and I'm gonna reemphasize what I said on the last episode. I think after watching Monday night, it proved that this was a Super Bowl ready team. Okay, defensively they showed it. There was constant pressure on Josh Allen. I mean, 4 interceptions. I understand Josh Allen was being a little careless with the ball, but I think the defense had a lot to do with about just putting the pressure on and making him uncomfortable, right? I think Jordan Whitehead showed that he is a playmaker at the safety position. Not necessarily elite or nothing like that, but he can make plays back there. I remember Jordan Whitehead when he played with Tampa, he was just a hard hitting safety. But now he's showing that he has that ball hawk ability, right? The D line, Quentin Williams, Jermaine Johnson, Carl Lawson didn't even play that night. right? And they got constant pressure. They were stuffing the run game. And then Sauce on the outside, DJ Reed, CJ Mosley, Quentin Williams' older brother. The defense is loaded. And then offensively, Garrett Wilson, who we believe is very elite. You have Alan Lazar, he's a trustworthy number two. He's not gonna do anything that's gonna make you say wow, but he's trustworthy. And then you got the two-headed monster back there, Brees Hall, who was having huge plays in the run game, and then Dalvin Cook, so you can interchange them. Everything was there, and then the blink of an eye, it's gone.
Gone.
It's crazy. And we talked about the O line on those couple of plays. He was under duress, no doubt. But I knew that the O line was a problem coming into the year, but I thought it would get better over time. I thought they would gel more. It would get better. Yes, I thought they would struggle early, but I thought they could still win games because of the defense. I was more so on the defense going into this year, knowing that you have Aaron Rodgers. He don't got to be MVP Aaron Rodgers. Just take care of the ball, right? You can have a couple of games where you show that MVP side, but won't need you doing much. That's why I figured that while the O line was figuring out the pass game, the defense will be able to hold it down the other side. But like I said, we saw early that the pass blocking was a little off, right? I'm not gonna say that's what caused him to get hurt. I'm not gonna do that because I think that was a freak accident.
Yeah.
Um, because we can argue what Daniel Jones got sacked 7 times.
Yeah.
He didn't get hurt. You know what I'm saying?
No.
So I'm not gonna blame the O line. And on that play, I actually learned that it was a 3-step drop, and they told the left tackle Dwayne Brown to cut Leonard
Yep.
Floyd, right? Just so he won't have his hands up. So he put his hands down, but A-Rod didn't let go of the ball. So then Leonard had a straight shot at him. So that's how it happened. So yeah, I really had high hopes with his team. You remember, and if Aaron Rodgers would have got through that game, I would have came on this episode and I would have said they're going. I'm confirming they're going to win the Super Bowl. I said they was going, but I would say they're going to win because that's how impressed I was with the defense and with Brees Hall getting those huge runs. Aaron Rodgers, just be half of yourself, and that's still better than half the quarterbacks in the league. You know what I'm saying? So that was very devastating. So you think they should go forward with Zach Wilson for the rest of the year, right?
I think they got to. I don't think because Aaron Rodgers is coming back. From what I know, I don't think they should trade to get a guy or sign someone. I think they would get someone to back up Zach. Because at the end of the day, they got to make a business decision on him too. I mean, he was second overall pick. He had a couple bad years, but I mean, young guys don't always come in and do their thing right away.
Yeah.
Key example, Geno Smith. I mean, he balled last year and he's been in the league forever. I don't think it might. If Zach pans out, I don't know if he'll be that long. But I think you got to see how he does. And I think in a new offensive system, it might suit his skill set better. You got Aaron Rodgers in his ear, and another defense, like another year with a good defense. And hopefully it starts clicking to him what he needs to do. I'm rooting for him. I hope he plays good. But I think they got to play him. I think it'd be dumb for them not to because you got to start evaluating him as well and what he can do for your team in the future. Because, I mean, Aaron Rodgers ain't getting any younger.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if it comes to a point where Rodgers comes back on a 2-3 year deal and they keep Zach on a low contract to keep him there, and then if he keeps playing good and then he takes his spot, kind of what Aaron did to Brett, but in a different situation because Zach already was the guy.
Yeah.
If he can learn under him, I think it'd be good for him. And then just having Rodgers in his ear all the time. I do expect Zach to play better than last year. I don't think he can get much worse than last year, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think another year of just him getting confident and him knowing, like, this is my team now for this year. Like, I expect them to roll it out there. And I don't think if they were to sign someone, I don't think it'd be a Carson Wentz or Nick Foles. Like, I don't think they would bring in a guy with a big name because then that's all that's going to do is distract him. And then that would not be smart at all. I think they would bring in somebody just to add depth, but not necessarily somebody to compete for the role.
Yeah. People say all the time that whenever you bench or when you let a young QB know that we're done with you, it can ruin their confidence, right? Like them bringing in Aaron Rodgers could have really, or them letting Mike White start a lot last year could have really hit Zach Wilson the wrong way, right? And he could have been done. But I think that this might be a good thing for him to be in the same room with Aaron Rodgers. I mean, Jordan Love, he came out hot. I don't know if he's gonna continue to do it, but he did come out hot and he did sit behind Aaron Rodgers for what 3-4 years.
Yep.
So being in the same room with him, you're going to learn something. You're not going to be Aaron Rodgers, but you're
You
going
learn.
to learn something from him. So I think that's going to help. This year, I'm going to root for the Jets. I think I made a very tight bond with them ever since the Aaron Rodgers trade. You know what I'm saying? I've been very high on them. I've been talking nothing but Jets, Jets, Jets. So I got to root for them going forward. But I just can't see Zach Wilson making the necessary plays. Because at the end of the day, your defense can play great, the run game can be good, but at some point, they're going to make the quarterback have to make a play. And I don't see Zach Wilson doing it. And like I said, a couple more years under A-Rod, then maybe we'll have a whole different discussion. But he only been with him for what? Not even a full year. Not even a year yet.
Yeah, and I think it's just one of those things where it's like Zach hasn't proved that he can do it yet.
Yeah.
So I think it's just another go out there and show us you can do it. Because I mean, I'm rooting for the Jets. I feel so bad for Jets fans. I mean, it sucks. I mean, it just sucks. So like, I'm pulling for them. I think a miracle season would be them making the playoffs and winning a playoff game.
Yeah.
But expectations are definitely a lot lower. I mean, it's going to be a week by week kind of basis. But yeah, I think it's just Zach Wilson's got to go out there and not even necessarily prove he's the guy, because we all know Rodgers is the guy and that he's coming back next year, hopefully, like himself. But I mean, if Zach used it as fuel to get a job elsewhere, I mean, this is a huge year for him. So we'll see how he does. But I'm pulling for him. I'm pulling for the Jets.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah. One more thing. I forgot when I did my week one dogs right for week one, who had great performances. I forgot to give a shout out to Robert Saleh. Okay. Your team just watched y'all season go down the drain pretty much when Aaron Rodgers went down. Okay, you was down 13-3 at halftime. It doesn't look. He had to say something to get them to continue to play or to play at a higher level in the second half. You know what I'm saying? And I kept hearing people say that Robert Saleh, I'm not really sold on him, right? Not really sold. Since Robert been at the Jets, the defense has been good. He just doesn't have a quarterback.
No.
Right. So people are looking at his win-loss record like, oh, he's not that good of a coach. Well, he doesn't have a quarterback. And in this league, especially today, you got to have a quarterback. Right? So if we look at what he's done with the defense, he's done an exceptional job. But overall, as a team, you're going to say, okay, they're not winning games. Well, they also don't have a quarterback. So shout out to Robert Saleh for getting that team back on track, because I know that hurt. I know it hurt. And you know it really hurt me when Garrett Wilson came out and said what Aaron Rodgers told him.
Yeah.
He said, "I'm sorry, kid." That really hit me different. Because I could just imagine how Garrett felt whenever he said that. You know what I'm saying? So emotions was everywhere. So for Robert to be able to get that team focused, to come out and win the game the way they did,
big time.
It's a great job by him. But you know, on the Pat McAfee show today, you know, I heard Aaron talk about he could probably come back this season.
Yeah, I mean, I
don't buy it, but
I wouldn't jump the gun on a 39-year-old back on an Achilles tear.
Yeah, definitely not. I mean,
we'll
I
see
next year.
Because I mean, Cam Akers did come back pretty quick when he tore his, but I mean, I don't. We haven't seen it done, so I'm not going to sit here and say I believe it can happen, because I mean, I don't. It is Aaron Rodgers. Like, he doesn't have to move that much.
He doesn't. Yeah.
All it is that, like, the position he plays is probably – he probably needs 100% Achilles least than anybody. Now that I'm thinking, maybe kick or punter, but even depending on what they're doing, they got to run down the field and cover. I mean, so we'll see. I don't think it's going to happen. I'll just go out there and say it, but I think it's playing on next year. If it happens, I mean, holy cow! What talk about a headline?
Right.
But I slow down a little bit.
Yeah.
It's week one. Let's just take it day by day.
Yeah, I got you. And like I said, I didn't buy into it as much. I'm very sold on coming back next year, right? At one point, we were saying, is he going to retire or is he going to come back? I'm very sold on coming back next year. But this year, not so much. But let's just live in Fantasy Island for just a second.
Okay.
Could you imagine if he came back?
It'd be crazy.
And that O-line throughout the year got better. So he wasn't running for his life when he comes back. And they go and win the Super Bowl. Could you imagine how crazy that would be?
It's arguably the best Super Bowl story ever.
It will. I think it will be the greatest.
Or will be the best. I mean, Yeah, that's movie stuff right there.
That is. That is. You think people think that the NFL is written right now? Just imagine if he was to come back.
That'd be one hell of a script.
Who you telling? And just looking at, I think that would be the greatest comeback ever. I think Tiger Woods right now is the greatest comeback because when he won the Masters in what 2017 ish, maybe 18. I was in high school when it happened. I remember me and Coach Herbst was talking about it. I kept saying Tiger Woods gonna win. He gonna win. Coach Herbst was like, dude, he is washed. He's done, and he actually won. So it was a period between Tiger's dominance and the last Masters he won, where he was just struggling, right, looking bad, looking washed. He won. So I said that was the greatest comeback. But if he comes back this season, if once again, if I don't believe it, but if that would be the greatest comeback. And just to remind you, Logan, you did say when we was doing our during my NFL pyramid when you was talking about it, like your reaction to it, you did say, I mean, the Jets are the Jets, right? So something can go wrong. You did say that. So I could say that you jinxed the Jets.
Okay, you don't put this on me.
I really could say because you did say I can pull the clip up. You know I can do it.
This was a fluke. This has nothing to do with me.
Yeah, whatever. You put that
I still
bad,
winning a playoff game this year and winning their division.
whatever. You put that bad negative energy in the air, and look what you did. You got hurt.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead. Put that on me then.
Good job. But speaking of good job, y'all, Logan, he did go on the record. On the record, he went 12-4, but he did go 11-3 because if y'all remember, before Thursday night football game with the Chiefs and the Lions, he did pick the Lions on the show, but on the app we're using, he picked the Chiefs. He forgot to change it after the Travis Kelce news. All right, so he did go technically 11-3. Whatever. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, 11-3, right?
I thought,
13-3. 13-3.
yeah,
Sorry,
there it is. That's even
13
better.
and
That
3.
even sounds even better.
Whatever. He went 13-3. And your boy, I went 8-8. That's not bad. It's really not bad. 8-8,
No,
that's 500. You know what I'm saying? And I took a couple of risks here and there. You know, I picked the
it's
Steelers.
just eh.
And you know, it's cool. But I'm right behind you, technically speaking. All I need you to do is make a couple of slip ups, and I'm right.
I got a couple games on you to start the year off. You know.
And I know you picked the Eagles yesterday.
Oh yeah.
I know you did, yeah. So now you're what 14-3, and I am 9-8 because I picked the Eagles. So let's go
Hey,
ahead and
sound
get
like
these.
Cowboys record.
Say it again.
You sound like Dallas Cowboys 9-8.
I know it does, but I'm gonna do what Dallas can't do, and I'm gonna go ahead and win this thing. You know what I'm saying? At the end, I'll be the last man standing.
You sound like a cowboy right there.
Let's let you know. I do not put me and the Cowboys in the same sentence. Don't do not do that. All right, let's go ahead and get these week 2 picks in. Week 1 was great, but I think week 2 is gonna be even better. First game, Packers and the Falcons. Logan, who you got?
Yeah, this one I keep going back and forth,
Yes, I do.
back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Like I want to pick the Packers, just because of what their defense showed week 1 and their offensive line. I'm gonna roll with the Falcons here. I'm gonna stick with my guns. I'm high on them this year. I think that secondary could give Jordan Love some trouble. Christian Watson's not playing. Aaron Jones isn't playing, and I think Jesse Bates and the boys in the back, secondary wise, with those big boys up front to be able to stop the run as well. I think I do expect Jordan Love to find trouble. This will be his first game where he's playing a pretty good secondary because the Bears secondary isn't worth any, in my opinion. And then we'll see Falcons offense. Get Drake London didn't catch the ball once. I think
Once.
I think seeing that game, I think Arthur Smith was like, if we run this ball, we cannot lose. And I think it was one of those things where he didn't even try and test anything vertical. Cal Pitts got involved a couple times. He had a 30-yard catch get called back because of an offensive holding.
Yeah.
And then Bijan and Tyler Algier. I think Cordell Patterson's coming back. I'm going to pick the Falcons here. I'm a believer in them this year. So this is a coin flip game in me because I can see it going both ways. But I'll stick to my roots. I'll go the Falcons here.
I feel you. This is a very tough one. And um, like you said, Drake London not having a catch in week 1 was crazy. But I think we all should have seen this coming. If you put Drake London or Kyle Pitts on your fantasy team this year, you're gonna have a couple of weeks where you're gonna be shaking your head because the running back room. Algier had a good game. I thought Tyler Algier was gonna be erased from the game plan. when they brought Bijan Robinson in, but they're using both of them.
Both.
Use them both. So if you, like I said, if you got Drake London or Kyle Pitts, you're gonna struggle this year. I think they're gonna be run first mentality for
Roller
sure.
coaster right here.
Yes, yes, no doubt. And like you said, Arthur Smith coming from Tennessee, where he had the luxury of having Derrick Henry, right? Now you have Bijan and Algier still in the mix, which I didn't expect. They're definitely gonna run the ball a lot, and I'm gonna go with the Falcons. Jordan Love had a great week one, no doubt about it. Not taking nothing from him, but in Atlanta, um, I don't know. I think I'm just gonna go. I'm going to Falcons. Like I said, it's a coin flip. I really struggle picking this game,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna just go with the home team. I'm gonna go with the Falcons. Next, you got the Raiders and the Bills. Go ahead and pick the Raiders, Logan. I know you want to.
I'm not picking the Raiders. I'm picking Buffalo. I don't
I
really.
feel like you want to. After what Josh Allen did Monday night, you don't
No.
want to. No, sure.
No. I think Buffalo's a better team. I think they beat themselves in that game in New York. I don't think the Raiders have enough in the secondary defensively. They got two good edge rushers, but I don't. I think the Bills are just a flat out better team, and they got a better quarterback at the helm. I think the Bills win this one pretty easy. I don't think there's much to argue here, unless they beat themselves and turn the ball over like they did last game. That's the only way I can see them winning this game because I
Yeah,
don't see the Raiders defense necessarily stopping them, um, and I can see the Raiders offense struggling against the Bills defense as well. So I got the Bills winning this one.
yeah. But if the Bills do lose, though, is it panic time in Buffalo?
No, again, it's
Okay,
week 2,
okay,
long year,
gotcha.
but it's if they go 0-2 and they come out week 3 and blow a dud too, then you can go ahead and hit the panic button. But
Yeah,
I mean, they're coached too good. Josh Allen is a gunslinger. It comes and goes. And they get Von Miller back probably week 5, week 6. Once they get Von Miller back, if they can stay healthy,
the
I
whole
think
different ball
that's
game.
what I think that's what's going to put them over the edge
Yeah,
with their ability to stop the run and then now pass rush. Um, but if I'm a Bills fan, I'm being patient.
yeah,
Letting it happen. Lost that one on Monday. They shot themselves in the foot. That was internal. I think they'll be just fine.
yeah. I agree. I'm gonna go with the Bills as well. I just don't think. And Jimmy G, he did surprise me last week. It was the last drive of the game. It was third down, and the Broncos got to stop. I think the Raiders would keep the field goal, and the Broncos still had a chance to win the game, right? And Jimmy G scrambled for a first down. He just does the little things right.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? He's not one of them quarterbacks that's gonna throw for 300, 400. He's not like that. He's just he's a winner. That's what he does. He wins games. Okay, and he showed that last week. I was watching that game, but I'm gonna go with the Bills. I think it's too much to overcome in Buffalo. I'm gonna go with the Bills. Next, this one, this is a frisky one right here. We got the Ravens and the Bengals. Logan, who you got?
I got the Bengals.
Bengals.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to play that bad again. Like I don't, and in that division, I think starting 0-2 is just awful because I think that division is stacked. Um, I think they win this game solely on how bad they played last week, and I don't think that's going to happen again. I think
Yeah,
they'll have a great week of practice. I think Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and them boys, T. Higgins did not play good. Tyler Boyd, Joe Mixon. The Ravens are a good football team. Would I be surprised if the Ravens win? No, because Mark Andrews should play too. But I think from what I saw recently, I think the Ravens have a couple of secondary people out. And if you have a couple guys in secondary that aren't playing against the Bengals,
yeah.
um,
Long game.
long game. So I'll take the Bengals here. I think Joe Burrow's going to have a day.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Bengals too. Real quick, a little stat that I pulled up last week. So Lamar's in this new offense, right?
Yep.
This dude is kind of like you said, not necessarily pass first, but it's definitely more passing than you know what I'm saying. Um, Last year, overall, right? They was in 11 personnel only 12% of the time last year. Okay, for those of y'all watching that don't know, that is one running back, one tight end, three receivers. Okay, the Ravens were more so of a two tight end or two running backs. You know what I'm saying? There was more big boys. You know what I'm saying? In that game against the Texans, they was in 11 personnel 45% of the time. Okay, so that just shows you that this offensive playbook has definitely changed, right? And Lamar didn't look too good. Once again, I'm not gonna overreact to week one. Lamar didn't look too hot in that game, passing wise.
Well,
Right?
whoever they played pretty good defensively.
Nah. See, I love how you try to flip the script right there, but no, we're not gonna do that. Okay, y'all just pay this man all this money. If you want to use the Texans defense, I
They
need a
played.
little more than that.
The defense played good. Lamar looked sloppy, but they played good.
I will give you this though. Will Anderson, he's gonna be a monster.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Go ahead and say that right now. Y'all ace that draft.
And Jalen Petrie, who got hurt, is going to be a stud. Derek Stingley is going to prove that he was worthy of the number 3 pick.
I'm just stretching it. See, I gave you a little credit. I said Will Anderson's gonna be the real deal.
I got to give my
You
guys
just
some credit
had
here.
to keep going. No, we're gonna stick with Will Anderson. And I think y'all understood the assignment in that draft. Get a quarterback and an edge rusher. To me, the two most important positions to be successful in the league. So I will give you credit for that. And Will Anderson showed flashes in that game that he will be the real deal eventually. But yeah, we're both going with the Bengals on that one. Next, Seahawks and the Lions. Seahawks just gave one away to the Rams. So how you feel about them now?
Um, I'm going Detroit. I think how bad the front seven and even the secondary played in Seattle. I think that O line for Detroit is going to have a field day, and I think if you got Jameer Gibbs or David Montgomery on your fantasy team, start them, lock it,
Yeah.
don't even think about it. Um, and that Seattle offense did not look good against Detroit. I think this game could end up being a shootout game too, because again, I know Chiefs didn't have Travis Kelce, but that Lions defense looked pretty good. But I mean, Seahawks have matchups all over the place too that they can exploit. But I'm gonna go Detroit here, first game at home, the most hype they've had in forever, almost it feels like.
Forever.
So
Yes.
I think that crowd is going to be nuts, and I don't think they lose that game.
Yeah.
I don't think they lose.
Yeah, speaking of fantasy, Jameer Gibbs, David Montgomery, and Sam Laporta. I think I'm saying his name right, the rookie tight end. You should start all three of them. I do think he's going to play a big role. We saw him in Kansas City have a couple of catches. I think he's going to play a bigger role, especially as the season go and him and Goff get a better connection. I'm going to go with the Lions. The Seahawks shocked me, right, in week one. This is not based off of week one, though. This is based off of what the Lions have going for them and the hype, especially after beating the defending champs. I know they didn't have Chris Jones. I know they didn't have Travis Kelce, but they don't care. They just beat the defending Super Bowl champ. They beat Mahomes. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going back home. It's going to be too much for Geno to overcome. I'm going with the Lions. Next, Chargers and Titans. Brandon Staley versus Mike Vrabel. I know you're not going to pick Brandon Staley again, right?
Yeah, I got to pick the Chargers. Um, I'm not high on Tennessee's offense this year. I know they still have Derrick Henry. I think he's gonna have a great game. I just think and that's what gets me frustrated about the Chargers. I think they're a way more talented football team than the Titans.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think the Titans, other than Byard in the back, Jeffrey Simmons is an animal
And
up front. But other than Byard in the back, I expect Justin Herbert to have a field day. And
yeah.
I that Titans offensive line is pretty young. I expect those pass rushers to get after the ball. If I'm wrong about this, though, I mean, I don't. It'll be hard for me to pick. Yeah, I don't know. Um, the Chargers got to win this game. If they start 0-2, I mean, and they lose another game they shouldn't, I wouldn't be surprised if Staley's fired halfway through the season.
Oh yeah. And
I'm picking the Chargers here. I think they're too talented. I don't think the Titans have enough firepower to beat them offensively and defensively. But the Chargers keep proving me, proving me wrong. Because I keep saying I'm high on them. Like I think they're going to do good, and they keep proving me wrong. So we'll see if what happens. But I got the Chargers here.
you know what we just witnessed for the first time? This is like our second episode together, something like that, right? We just witnessed you be a little uncertain over there. I saw some
Yep.
uncertainty while you was picking this game, and everybody, I just actively changed my pick because I smell blood in the water. I do. I smell blood, and I'm gonna go with the Titans. I'm gonna go ahead. I went with them last week. I said I thought Derrick Henry would have a huge game. Right, he did okay. He didn't have one of those big games that we expect, right? But I think that had a lot to do with the Saints' defense being able to stop the run or at least limit him as much as possible. But I can see him at home doing a number on the Chargers. I can see it. And what's the best way to beat a high-powered offense?
Run the ball.
Run the ball. and take some time. See, you know what? I appreciate it, Logan, because this is what these picks like these is what's gonna let me come back, okay, and then overcome this little deficit that I'm at right now. So I'm gonna go with the Titans. I appreciate that. I really do. You just helped me out a lot. Next, we got the Bears and the Buccaneers. Who you got?
I got the Buccaneers.
Buccaneers. Ooh, okay.
I didn't like what I saw from the Bears, and same reason why I picked the Bucks to beat the Vikings. Um, who is going to stop Mike Evans and Chris Godwin on that Bears secondary?
Not a clue.
I think the Bucks beat them up front. Like I think the Bucks win that matchup offensively to the Bears defense, and then you flip it on the other side. Um, people forget, I think, how much talent the Bucks have defensively. Vita Vey, Shaq Barrett, you got Levante David, Devin White, and Winfield at safety, and two good corners. I think they're too big and too physical. Their defense against the Bears offense, until the Bears show me something that they have an offense other than Justin Fields,
Yeah.
um, I can't pick them to win a game, so I'm gonna pick the Bucks here.
Yeah. So whenever I make a risk, this was gonna be my risk pick. I was gonna pick the Bears, but you made me change my mind on the last pick. So I gotta go ahead and go with the team that's favored in this one. I gotta go with the Bucks. All right. The Bears, look, I expected a little too much last week, I think. I might have jumped on this, not necessarily bandwagon, but um, it's gonna take a little more time for them to get to where they want to be, right? And I kind of sped up that process because I thought Justin Fields, and it's week one, you know what I'm saying? I mean, not trying to overreact nothing like that, but I thought I would see something better than what I saw in week one. But Baker didn't look too bad. He didn't, and it definitely helps to have Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. So I'm gonna go ahead and go with Baker at home. Next, oh man, Logan, I'm so excited to hear the Chiefs and the Jaguars. Y'all, this is game of the week. It is. This is game of the week. Who you got?
Kansas City.
Wow, I forgot. You're not that high on Jacksonville. I forgot.
Pretty quick. You got Chris Jones, Travis Kelce coming back. I don't think defensively the Jags will be able to stop Kansas City from a running game and passing game. I think this is a game, the only way the Chiefs lose is if they turn the ball over too much. And then I think Chris Jones in that front for the Chiefs is going to be able to get after Trevor Lawrence. Now, if they don't get pressure on Trevor Lawrence, I think this game is another game I can see being a shootout, and it's going to come down to whoever has the ball last.
Yeah.
If the Chiefs are able to get pressure on Lawrence, I think the Chiefs win this one. I don't think it will be a blowout just because of how high powered the Jags offense is. But I think matchup wise, the Chiefs match up too good to a point of they have no one to guard Kelce, and their D line is not gonna do good against those big boys that Kansas City's got up front. And then on the other side, Chris Jones coming back. I mean, he just got paid. He ain't got nothing to worry about. He's gonna go out there and do his thing. And then they still have a plethora of guys in that defense that are some dogs that are pretty underrated.
I got you. And you know, I'm gonna take my glasses off for this one because I got some very exciting news to tell you, ladies and gentlemen. Trevor Lawrence is going to beat Patrick Mahomes this weekend. Okay, you can book it if you like to bet, you know, a little money like I do occasionally. You know what I'm saying? Then go ahead and go all in on Jacksonville. Okay, because I'm sold. Calvin really looked great in week one. He looked great. Once again, don't want to overreact, but he did. Okay, him and Trevor Lawrence already have a nice connection. Christian Kirk was left out a little bit, right? He didn't get to touch this. I think Trevor Lawrence and Calvin really trying to get that connection going. But he still got Christian Kirk. Still got Evan Ingram. Travis Etienne didn't look too bad, right? So that 7-on-7 offense that you want to call it, right? I think they're going to outscore Mahomes and Travis Kelce. I do. And Chris Jones' first game back, I don't see him really going crazy like that. What's up? Anything you want to say?
Can you repeat after me?
Yeah, sure. What's up?
The Kansas City Chiefs are going to start 0-2.
The Kansas City Chiefs are going to start 0-2. That came out very smoothly.
That doesn't make you feel a certain way. That doesn't.
It doesn't make this
Okay. I can't see them starting 0-2. I'd probably pick them to beat any team because I don't think that team is starting 0-2.
And you know what? I couldn't see Aaron Rodgers getting hurt on the first drive on Monday Night Football.
Okay, well
I couldn't see that either. So
that's a fluke. You can't tie that into the Chiefs starting 0-2.
Yes, I can. Anything's possible now.
Anything's
possible.
Okay. What a shirt.
Anything's possible. Jacksonville over Kansas City. Y'all book it. Put your money on it because I just might do that. Okay, I just might do
Yeah, go
it.
for it.
Next, we got the Colts and the Texans.
I'm
Go
doing
ahead.
it. I'm doing
Go
it.
ahead and do it. Go ahead.
I got the Texans winning this one.
Mm-hmm.
I think our defense played really like if you actually watch that game, I was very impressed on how our defense played against a very talented Ravens team. I think Stingley played good. Now, both of our starting safeties are out. So I made this pick before I saw that today. Jimmy Ward is yet to play, and Petrie is out with an injury he suffered last week. Um, but I think our ability to limit Lamar's read option game will help in defending Anthony Richardson's read option game.
Yeah.
And then matchup wise, I think Stingley's a good matchup on Michael Pittman. Other than that, I think we have a really good secondary corner wise, and then even our backup safeties are pretty good. Um, I expect D'Amico to bring in some heat in the blitz game. And then offensively, I expect us to run the football more. I think we got away from that. I think it'll be a low-scoring game, but that stadium is going to be electric with D'Amico. I know the owner already came out and said he wants everyone in their seats by 11:30 because they have a new intro that they're starting this year. D'Amico is bringing the fan base back. I think it's exciting times to be a Texans fan due to you can see this team is slowly going in the right direction. Um,
No doubt about it.
and I'm winning this game because of D'Amico Ryans. I think he had a good defensive game. I think our offense did not help at all,
At all.
which we struggled. I expect our offense to struggle. We have so many guys banged up front. Because I was high on this offensive line, and they're all getting hurt, which sucks for CJ. But CJ played great, in my opinion, too. But yeah, I think it'll be a low. Like I think this could be a 17-14 game. The Texans winning. I think it'll be a low scoring game, real low scoring. But yeah, I got the Texans winning this one.
You know what? You almost. I love everything you just said. You almost reeled me in. Almost. But repeat after me, okay?
Okay.
Houston Texans.
Houston Texans
Going 0-2.
going 0-2.
Does that sound normal? It does.
Yes. Yeah, it does.
It's very fluent. It's very normal. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go with the Colts, okay? I love the future for the Texans. Okay, I came out after draft day and I said, man, I love what y'all did. Honestly. Trading away next year's pick, I thought it was bad at first, but I thought about it. Don't y'all have the Browns first round pick next year?
Yep.
See, I thought about that. I was like, man, I don't know about trading next year's pick. Now you did get Ward Anderson out of it, which I think is going to be worth it, right? But being a young team still building up, I was like, they might hurt after missing that first round pick next year. But y'all got the Browns first round pick.
Yeah, and then just to pause you real quick, my whole thing was like, we never trade up. We trade up for Watson, but like we don't do that. And then at the end of the day, we went and got our guy at quarterback, and we got what we thought is the best defensive player in the draft, and we still have a first round pick next year and still a second round pick next year. I was completely comfortable with us doing that.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the Browns pick.
Yeah, and because I think we've built cornerstones on our defense with Stingley, Petrie, and Anderson. We'll see other guys that we've drafted defensively later in the rounds to see if they blossom and step up. But those three guys, you can build a defense around in the future. Offense is working on it. We got Pierce. We got Tank. We'll see what he can do. John Mechie is finally cleared. He's making his debut in the NFL.
See that, yeah.
And then again, C.J. Stroud, who was arguably the best pure passer in the draft, in my opinion. So we'll see. But I think defense is going to win this game, and I'm excited about the future. It's going to be a long road. I don't have high hopes this year, but the next 2 to 3, I'm pretty hopeful on what D'Amico and Nick Caserio can do.
Of course. Yeah, I know you're not crazy to think that y'all are going to win anything anytime soon. Come on.
No, like I'm not crazy to think my team would beat the San Francisco 49ers week 1. I would.
My team, a rebuild year, we went, 9-8? I was expecting a year 2 jump. Once again, we won. Don't overreact. But my team went 9-8 in a rebuild year. Your team about to go about 3-14, maybe 4-12? No, 4-13, something like that. It's okay. I'm not trying to throw any shade, but I'm going with the Colts in this game. Okay, just to make sure you know. All right, next we got the 49ers and the Rams. Who you got?
I don't think we need to really talk about this much. 49ers.
Hey, I'm just saying, maybe Matt Stafford would shock the world and let y'all know that, hey, I just won a Super Bowl a couple years ago. Just a reminder, you know what I'm saying? But I'm going with the 49ers. There's no reason to even talk about that right now. I witnessed personally, okay? I looked the devil in the eye last week. I did. Okay, and he burned me. It burned so bad. It burned so bad. So just imagine what's about to happen to the Rams. Who's worse than the Steelers, by the way? The Giants and the Cardinals. This is a before you pick. This is a must-win game for the Giants. I know it's week 2, but this is a must-win game. Go ahead.
Yeah, I got the Giants winning this one. I think they're better top to bottom, and I think they had a fluke year, or not fluke year, fluke game. Um, Brian Daboll just won Coach of the Year. It wasn't for no reason. I think they get back on track here, and I think they dominate this game from start to finish.
Yeah, they better. They have to. I'm not just looking at what the score. No, I'm not looking at. I'm sorry. Yeah, if they win the game or lose the game, I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about how they win the game. Will this be a dominant win for the Giants? Will determine if they will have a good year or not. Because you just got smacked on national television. Okay, by 40. Shouldn't have been. You shouldn't have lost by 40. If you'd lost that game on a regular night, probably lost by 14 at most, maybe, right? Because I don't think they're that bad of a team. But you got embarrassed. To go against the worst team in the league, who we all know is going to have the number 1 pick for next year, we're going to get Caleb Williams. I think we already know that. If Caleb come out, of course. They got to win this game by like 20. They have to. They have to. So it's a big game for the Giants. Big game for Daniel Jones. Just got to pay all that money. Go show why. All right, so they better win this game. I got the Giants. Next is the Cowboys and the Jets. Do I smell an upset?
No, I got the Cowboys winning this one.
Sheesh.
I think the Cowboys defense is too much for Zach Wilson's first game as a starter.
Yeah.
I think that O-line didn't prove anything. I think they're going to get after it. I don't think it will be ugly, but I don't think there will be a point in the game where we think, okay, the Jets actually have a chance to win this game. The Jets defense will keep them in the game score-wise, but I think the Cowboys will keep field position the entire time, and they'll kick their field goals. They'll get their long drives that they'll eventually get because the defense will be on the field the entire time. But I got the Cowboys winning this one, and I see maybe like a 27-14 game, maybe a game to where you might look at it and say, okay, that was close. But if you watch it with the blind eye, they beat them up the entire time.
Yeah. I wanna pick the Jets so bad.
Do
It's
it.
not just because of the Aaron Rodgers situation. It's because
Do
this
it.
defense is so good.
Don't pick the Cowboys. You know you want to.
They're going against Dak
You know
Prescott.
how smart you will sound when the Jets win and you pick them?
You right. You right. I see what you're trying to do. Okay, you're trying to do what I was trying to do the past couple times. Rule you into a bad pick. But is it really a bad pick? I don't think it is.
Dak Prescott against that defense?
I'm saying that turnover city, turnover nation. Come on now. I can see that going.
Brandon Cooks might not play, so we'll see.
Man, I might have to. I'm gonna do it. Why not? Right? Why not? I'm gonna do it. I'm going with the New York Jets, baby. Okay, I love the defense. I love the fact they can run the ball. Zach Wilson just don't turn the ball over. That's all I'm asking. O line just give Zach a little bit of time. Okay, this could be a low scoring game. Honestly, I do think so. Unless Zach just give the ball away. You know what I'm saying? But if Zach can protect the ball, they can run the ball well like they did the other night. I think this could be a very close game. And it could be one of them games that come down to a field goal. And I got Greg the Leg on my side. So I'm gonna go ahead and go with the Jets. I appreciate it, Logan. You might actually hurt yourself right there. I hope you know that.
That's not gonna happen.
I hope you know that. All right, Commanders and the Broncos.
I got the Commanders winning this one.
Mm-hmm.
I think Chase Young is officially back now. I think Russ did look better. But I think that D line is going to get after it. I think that defense has too many dudes, and then it's another game. It was kind of hard, but I think that D line is going to get after that Broncos offensive line. And Russell's not a big guy, so if you get in his face and you're able to contain him, it'll be a long day. So I got the Commanders.
Yeah, So once again, when I take a risk pick, I gotta get rid of my other risk pick, right? Even though the Denver Broncos are favored, right? I do think it was still a risk in going with the Broncos. having to deal with that defensive line, right? But yeah, I'm gonna go with the Commanders too. I think, like you said, the defensive line is gonna win this game. I think Russ can have a solid game against them, right? But I still think they're gonna lose this game. I'm gonna go with the Commanders. And Sam Howell, I think he will be able to have a better game than what he did last week. Even though the matchup was better last week, right, against the Cardinals defense, I do think he can have a good game. And Brian Robinson Jr., I like him. All right, I think they will really use him in the run game. I'm gonna go with the Commanders as well. The Dolphins and the Patriots.
Uh,
Ooh. Come on, Logan, do it, do it. I know you want to.
no, I can't. I think the Dolphins D line gets after the Patriots O line here, and I think the Patriots are going to be better than expected. I don't think this game's going to be a blowout by any means.
Yeah.
I do think the Patriots have a good secondary. I think this game Miami starts running the ball a little bit more because I think Bill's going to respect the passing game a little bit better than what the Chargers did. I got the Dolphins winning this one. This is a turnover game. I think that whoever turns the ball over more will lose this game. I think that's what it's going to come down to. But I think schematically and personnel wise, I think the Miami's a little too much for New England.
Yeah. The Dolphins had a pretty good game last week against a coach that you and me are questioning, right? If he should even be there at the end of this year. But Belichick, I don't question Belichick. And when I'm looking at, like I said, I saw a lot of times where Tyreek Hill was pressed. I promise you, the Patriots are not going to press Tyreek Hill.
No.
I promise you. If there's one man that can figure it out, it's Bill. And what Mack did against the Eagles defense last week, I don't think it was. I don't think it was just a week one fluke. I don't think so. I think Mack was pretty solid his rookie year. I do. He got him to the playoffs. Yes, they lost to the Bills, but he got him there. I think last year, no OC, right? You had Matt Patricia calling the offense, right? Which was Bill. That was pretty questionable. I'm not gonna lie to you. But last year he had no hope. This year, he looked like he did in year one,
Yep.
right? So I can see it happening at home in New England, Sunday Night Football. I'm gonna go with the Patriots.
Okay.
Do it. I know you. I know you think I'm making a mistake, but I don't think I am. I don't. Next, we got the Saints and the Panthers at Carolina. Who you got?
I got the Saints winning this one. I think both sides of the ball. Mainly Panthers' offensive line and their offense matched up against the Saints' defense. I think the Saints will dominate. I think Bryce Young will have a good career. Not right now. I think that game could get kind of ugly with the hits I think he's about to endure. And then J.C. Horn's not playing. He's on IR. That's their best secondary player. Saints got too many weapons. I got the Saints winning this one. I don't think it's going to be close.
Oh yeah, yeah. Shout out to Brian Burns. I did not know that he had 2 sacks last week.
He's
I
a
did.
dog.
He is a man. I love Brian Burns. He called himself Spider Man. I love him. All right. I think he's very underrated in this league. And I just found out today that he had 2 sacks in that game. But I gotta go with the Saints. I think they're just outmatched. I think Carolina is going to struggle a lot, right, before they can get good. All right, I don't see no threat on that offense at all. There's nobody that I fear when I play Carolina on that offense. Defensively, like I said, you got Brian Burns, right, but it's just not enough. I'm gonna go with the Saints. And then last but not least, the Browns and the Steelers. Are you sold on the Browns when Joe Burrow threw only 82 yards? I think that's more of a Joe Burrow problem than the Browns making him do that. But go ahead, tell me what you think.
The Browns are definitely better from last year.
Yeah.
Like I think that's something you can prove week one. With they went out and got Zadarius Smith that most people forgot about. They still have Dalvin Tomlinson in the middle. And they still have Myles Garrett and those dogs on the outside. And they still have a great line in Nick Chubb and Amari Cooper. With all that being said, I'm picking the Steelers to win this game.
Oh,
I think Jack Conklin getting hurt and T.J. Watt going against a backup offensive tackle.
Who, by the way, not to cut you off, you heard what he said today, right? You heard what he said? He
Who?
said that, huh?
Who? TJ?
No, what the backup O lineman that's gonna be blocking TJ. You know what he said?
No.
He said, I see some weaknesses in TJ's game. Like, basically saying, I'm going to lock him up.
Yeah, he's screwed.
Yes, he did come out and say that.
Yeah, he messed up.
Yeah, do not poke the bear. Don't do that.
I think I know Hayward's out, but I think still defensively, I think y'all match up well against the Browns offense. Just the way y'all are built and how they're built. And then offensively, I know Deontay's not going to play.
Yeah.
But I think this is a field position game. And then I don't know. I'm not sold on y'all's offense at all.
I don't blame you.
But I don't see y'all starting 0-2, and I don't see the Browns starting 2-0.
Boom.
And then with TJ Watt's matchup right there, I think he's gonna have a field day, and I think y'all will score a defensive touchdown. Low scoring game, and I think y'all outlast the Browns on this one.
No doubt. I expect to see a low scoring AFC North battle. Right, I've been through many of those in my 20 years of living. I have been through many of them. Right, and more times than not, those are the games that I like to see. Honestly, I remember we went against somebody last year, and we was going shot for shot with them. We would score the Bengals. It was the Bengals on Sunday Night Football, I want to say, or that 325 game, and we went shot for shot. They scored, we scored. They scored, we scored. I looked at my little brother and said, I'm not comfortable. I hate these games. I really do. I like those low-scoring defensive battles. Like, I'm more comfortable watching my defense than my offense. I mean, clearly, right? But even with Ben, I like seeing the defense more. It's just something about it. And I hate those high-scoring games. I think it's going to be what I thought last week was going to be, right? A low-scoring, tough game. I do think Deshaun going to be under duress. Because, yes, Cameron Hayward is gone, and everybody want to emphasize that, but we still have T.J. Watt, right, who I think last week showed y'all why he was number 2 on my list in the top 10 players in the NFL. Right, I think he was high on your list as well, so I'm not throwing any shot at you, but he's that guy, right? And then you have Alex Highsmith. People want to forget he had double-digit sacks last year, right? So our defense is not doomed. Yes, Cameron Hayward was a big loss, but I think we have enough to be able to compensate for, especially with the pass rush. All right. And then Minka over the top still. The corners, I'm not really sold yet. Patrick Peterson, look, he had moments. He had his moments last week, right? But then he had moments where he was like, man, you look washed. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And then Joey Porter Jr., I want to see him play a lot more. I want to see him get out there. I think he can be a stud. But, yeah, I'm going to take us at home. I don't see it. Mike Tomlin, I think after a loss like that, you should be scared to go against Mike because he's not going to put up with it 2 weeks in a row. I promise you that. Kenny Pickett not going to have a big game, but he can take care of the ball. And I do think this is a golden opportunity for George Pickens to have his I'm here moment. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Deontay and Pat Freiermuth, to me, are who Kenny is more comfortable with. Like, just watching the Steelers play. But now there's no Deontay, right? Get George Pickens the ball. Please. I'm begging you. Get George Pickens the ball. And everybody, once again, Steeler Nation makes me so mad. They overreact. Why are we not running the ball? Well, last week, we got our teeth kicked in, so we couldn't run the ball. Okay, you're down by 20. You can't run the ball. Okay, just those of y'all that don't know, right? This week, I think we can run the ball more, get Najee going, get Jalen Warren going. I'm going with Pittsburgh at home. And by the way, shout out to me. You know, on the pick'em thing, whenever you pick the last game, you got to pick the total score, right? I did get last week's score right, like on the money. Okay. I think I did 38 combined, and they did get 38 combined. This week I'm going 36 combined. I think I had it being like, I'm not gonna lie, I can't remember the score, but 36 combined points. Sounds good. So Steelers, right? That's what we got.
Yeah, I got the Steelers. I don't think they're starting 0-2 flat out, and I don't think the Browns are starting 2-0.
Boom. I appreciate the respect. I appreciate it. As much as I hate to, we got to end the show. All right, it's over with. Look, man, I'm gonna go ahead and just be honest with y'all. I know that we just went for an hour and some change, but I'm really enjoying this. Honestly, like, I understand the new day and age. Everybody attention span shorter. You know, we want to see 5-minute clips versus 50-minute clips. You know what I'm saying? I understand that, but when you enjoy doing something, you can't put a time limit on it. I'm just saying, and I think I picked the right guy to go along with me on this show. I would not give you credit too often, so you might want to just take this in and really appreciate what I'm about to say. I do think I picked the right guy. 'Cause I can sit here and do this all day. Like I said, the reason why we started this was my mom, right? Because everybody saw you at that Elodia tournament,
Yep.
and we started just talking about sports. And my mom was ready to go. She said, why don't you bring on the podcast? Like, wrap it up, let's go. Bring on the podcast. And then the light bulb just flicked in my head. I was like, you know what? That's what we're gonna do. And I've enjoyed every second of it.
No, same here, man. I appreciate you asking me to come on. I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, man, no doubt. We're gonna keep this thing going. So I will see y'all next Tuesday to recap week 1 a little bit, and I'll be able to do it more in depth because it's week 2. I'm sorry, to recap week 2. My bad. And then I'll be able to talk more about it. Like I said, week 1, I don't like to overreact. And then you'll see Logan again next Friday's episode to do our picks and to also get his reaction from week 2. Sounds good.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. But look, y'all enjoy this weekend of football. Y'all stay safe, stay blessed, and we out.